right, we're starting at mile 0, Lakeloop, trailhead parking, nature center. See, the miles are just flying by. So at about 3/4 of a mile, you hit what's essentially like your first long uphill. It's not bad. It's pretty low grade, and you just keep on trucking, and it doesn't last that long. I don't know, maybe a half a mile of uphill, but again, super light grade, lots of switchbacks. They say it's rated moderate. I would call it a pretty easy moderate. There's nothing really super challenging about this trail. You wouldn't want like a stroller out here. You know, you could do it in tennis shoes, hiking boots. It's all good. And coming up is our next mile marker. Let's see what we got here, 0.75 miles. So 3/4 of a mile. Let's keep moving. All right, 1 mile. We are 1/3 of the way through the trail. Again, just a small uphill for about a 1/4 mile, and a little bit further to go, but it flattens out a little bit. It's a nice trail. You'll get your heart rate up. You'll get your steps in. But you don't necessarily need like a bottle of water. You don't need an emergency blanket. You don't need a splint or anything. It's not an episode of Alone. It's just a nice little 3-mile hike through the woods. So the fun thing about forests is there's always a war happening between the hardwoods and the evergreens. They're constantly fighting, slowly, over hundreds of years, for dominance in the woods. And you can see here that the hardwoods are winning, meaning this is an older piece of woods, because usually your pines and your evergreens will come in first and slowly but surely get outcompeted by these evergreens. And here you can see here's a lone pine tree fighting the good fight, but it is definitely losing to these more matured hardwoods. 1.25 miles. So we're getting close to the halfway point. We'll be hitting a covered bridge here shortly. Probably one of the highlights of both this trail, the Orange Blaze and the Green Blaze, is the covered bridge. I mean, it's a suspension bridge, not a covered bridge. My apologies. Can't make a YouTube video without messing something up and having to fix it with like some text on the screen. But yeah, it's a suspension bridge. Lots of beautiful plants, beautiful ferns all along the trail. All right, this is the highlight of the Orange Trail and the Yellow Blaze Trail. It is the suspension bridge. So here we're actually joining with the Green Trail. So we're on the bridge loop and the lake loop, and they sort of combine for just a short section, 1/4 mile, half a mile, something like that. And you get to come on this absolutely lovely, totally safe, and super fun suspension bridge. And as you can see, just beautiful. Again, this is really low. A lot of times when you come here, this is much higher. much more free flowing. Yep, it's just a beautiful steel and wood. You can feel it shaking too, bouncing. So it's just a good time. 1.75, let's go. So shortly after the suspension bridge, you get what's essentially your last big uphill section. Again, maybe a quarter mile, not very long. A little bit steeper than the last grade. And it does end with a nice stone staircase that we're about to show you coming up here. All right, 2 miles. We are now officially 2/3 of the way through. Usually clocks in at like 2.96, so you know, again, 3 miles. All right, here we go. This is the last sort of steep rock staircase, and we're going to use this as a metaphor for the Tazumi Woods YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we slowly climb in our viewers and numbers. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, smash that button, leave a comment. Now we're back on just Orange Blaze. So again, you can walk all sorts of different ways. You can walk it forward, you can walk it backwards. There's actually 2 different parking lots to choose from. So you can either park at what would be the beginning of the Bridge Loop Trail, which is the Green Blaze, or do what we did and park at the lake and go on the Lakeloop Trail. And so yeah, this last mile is actually really nice. I feel like it's very over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. It's just a very pleasant, you know, a couple little hills to go up and down, but nothing that I would really consider like hiking up. You know, like your waterfall trails, how you'll do a lot of elevation gain before you actually can get to the payoff. We're getting close to Mrs. Tazumi's favorite part of the hike, which is where all the fairies and the nymphs like to live and play. And you'll see exactly what we're talking about as we get closer to it. But I think that's one of the best parts of these Chicopee Woods hikes, is the magic. They definitely have the magic of nature. You can definitely feel in tune. I think a lot of it has to do, I think there's a very large mycelium fungus network in this forest, and I think that it's a very healthy forest due to there being so many mushrooms. And here we go, we got some beautiful rocks, and again, the water's really low. It's very interesting. The water drops off here and actually goes underground for a portion, as you can see. So somewhere in there the water dips down, and then it's gonna go, and it doesn't flow up top here, and then it pops back out over here. So it's like I said, it's just a very interesting place. One of the more fun is the Rock Creek boulder, and it's actually a bridge that you get to walk over. Huge, very strong, and there's the creek flowing through there. Again, when it rains more, the creek's a lot higher, so we just really have not had a lot of rain here in Georgia in this last month. So going back to the tree war, you can see that the evergreens are still clinging on to a little bit over here, but also you can see they're slowly but surely losing the battle against your hardwoods. Here you can see a pine tree, well, what was a pine tree, just slowly succumbing to the competition from these hardwoods. So here you can see a very mature pine, and that's what would have dominated this forest as a young forest. But as forests age, the hardwoods move in, and the war of the trees continues on. Over decades and even centuries, though. It's very slow moving, but next time you walk through a forest, you might see it a little differently, knowing that you're technically walking through a tree battlefield at the 2.5 mile marker. 2.7 miles of the Lakeloop trail down. I should mention that this is not a free trail. You will pay either an entrance fee or you can get the yearly membership, which is really affordable. I'll have to look it up. I'll maybe put it on the screen what the annual membership costs. But as we get to the end, I just want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this preview of the Lakeloop Trail at Chicopee Woods. You know, feel free to leave a comment if anything you liked, anything you didn't like, any suggestions on how to improve these videos, or information you'd like to know as I show you different hikes and different parts of nature. And remember to leave no trace as you go hiking. You know, take only pictures, leave only footprints. All right, so this is the last little section. We're right at 3 miles here. Last little section before we end up back in the parking lot. And just like that, you emerge from the woods and we are back to the lake. Thus this trail's name, Lakeloop. It is indeed a lake loop. We're back in the parking lot. So yeah, everybody get out there and enjoy Chicopee Woods, Lakeloop. And that's all from Tazumi Woods today. Thank you very much for watching.